Dreaming of becoming a pilot without breaking the bank? Meet Pipistrel. The game changer in flight training. It's affordable, efficient, and the future of aviation. Pipistrel aircraft makes learning to fly way more accessible than ever. In this video, we'll be talking to the flight instructor that does training in this plane. We'll talk about what this airplane has to offer and compare it to a Cessna 150, which I started out when I did my private. Then we'll strap in and take it up for flight and see how it handles. So welcome on board and let's go flying. What's up everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel to another aircraft review. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of this exciting new series here on First Gen Pilot. If you have an aircraft that I could review here on the First Gen Pilot YouTube channel, please feel free to reach out to me using the link in the description to sign up and we'll make it happen. Today we have Stu, who is very passionate about flying, as you'll find out in this video.
My name's Stu Lieber, live in Lakeville here, Minnesota. I'm an airline pilot. I've actually been flying since I was 12 years old. Okay. I got my soloed on my 16th birthday, license at 17, kind of always wanted to do. Yeah. Embry-Riddle grad down in Daytona Beach, Florida. And then fly for a living, fly for fun, just keep flying.
So what can you tell us about the aircraft we have behind us right here?
So this is a 2023 Pipistrel Alpha Trainer. Okay. I picked it up. It had 19 hours on it when I got it. Mm-hmm. It's a light sport aircraft, which is certified under ASTM standards instead of the Part 23 standards of the FAA. So it's got a little bit different certification, which is why it's got the light sport on the side of it, which is actually kind of fun because you can do a sports pilot rating in it, but you can also do your private. You can do your instrument, you can do your commercial, you can do your CFI. You can literally do all your training in it. Mm-hmm. This particular one has the G3X and a full Garmin autopilot. So it's TAA, which means you literally could do all of your training in this airplane alone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, what does the maintenance look like then if you were looking into the aircraft like this one right here?
So the interesting thing is, as a light sport aircraft, it can be maintained by a regular AMP-IA to do your annuals like you would in a Cessna 150. It can also be maintained by a light sport repairman with a maintenance rating in airplanes, which is a 15-day course down at Rainbow Aviation in Missouri, which I went and did. So I'm actually now licensed to do the annuals and 100-hour inspections on it myself. So you still need your 100 hours if it's per hire. You still need your annual. You need everything a regular airplane needs. It's just a matter of who can do it. Yep. One of the big advantages with the Rotax motor that it runs a Rotax 912 engine, is that if you run auto gas, or MoGas as it's called in the industry, you can go to 100 hours for oil change intervals. Versus most airplanes are 25 or 50 hours. Okay. So just in oil changes, it can save you kind of a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like, when we're talking about the performance of this thing, you know, we were kind of talking a little bit earlier about, well, how we can compare it to the Cessna 150. So what does that kind of look like if we're kind of compared to that?
So the interesting thing is, takeoff wise, we're going to be off the ground. You and I today will be off the ground in 300 or 400 feet. Okay. And we could probably be off a little bit quicker if we did kind of max flaps takeoff performance. So it's super performance takeoff is really easy. The hardest part about flying the airplane is it has flaperons. So the whole wings, the flap and the aileron. So as you add flaps, you need to get really slow because of the control effectiveness. Okay. But it was originally designed, Pipistrel is kind of a glider world airplane. Yeah. So it's not easy to land. So it actually has built-in air brakes that you can use to aid your landing. And a lot of people, to do the short performance landing, which you can get down and stopped in 500 feet, you'll have to use the air brakes to kind of make that work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's kind of shaped like a glider too. You know, we got the TTL in the back there as well. So, like, how fast are we looking that the thing goes?
We're going to cruise, get it up to altitude, 5,000 to 6,000 feet is kind of optimal. There's no mixture.
Okay.
So it's self-regulating carburetors, and there's dual carburetors in it. So it wants to be about 5,000-6,000 feet for most efficient. We run about 5,300 RPMs, which
Yep.
for a Lycoming world is a ton of RPMs.
A lot, yeah.
But with that, you're going to cruise right around 95 to 100 knots.
Okay.
So I think that's probably pretty not quite a 172, maybe right around a 172 pulled back. But we're going to do it at 3.5 to 4 gallons an hour.
That is very efficient, like compared to the other Lycoming engines. So yeah, that's really efficient. So let's talk about how high can we take this thing?
The highest I've had it is 12,000 feet.
Okay.
And just because I didn't take oxygen with me. So the oxygen requirements, there's not a ton of baggage because that's where the fuel tank is behind the seats.
Yep.
So it would be the oxygen requirements that are going to be your limit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an airplane restriction.
For sure. And what about range? Like how far can we go?
So we burn, let's just call it 4 gallons an hour, a little bit less than that. It's only got a 13-gallon tank. So it's in that 3.5 hour range. You probably should be looking for gas.
Okay. So if you were in the market right now looking for a Pipistrel, how much would you kind of look in it for?
I actually looked the other day because I have friends that are interested in getting one. There are no used ones on the market right now.
Okay.
The good news is they're still built new.
Yeah.
So you can get a new one. So at 24, 25, it's going to be just under that $200,000 mark. Kind of, I don't know, if you got lucky, maybe 185,000.
Yeah.
But about 200,000 would get you into one. The glider version actually costs a little bit more.
Okay.
Kind of that mid twos.
Yeah.
And then Pipistrel also makes a brand new Panthera, which is way more expensive.
Wow. Yeah. And then all the panel comes with it, like the autopilot and all that.
Everything. They're all options. So you
Okay.
can do the G3X and the autopilot, but that's a pretty standard. The configuration I have is the standard one that most places are ordering and building.
Yeah. And the other thing is that this plane is very efficient, like we talked about. So that also means you'll be cutting down on your costs if you're doing your flight training in this. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, right now, I flight train with some high school students. That's kind of my passion, is to kind of give back to the youth in aviation, right?
Yep.
If kids want to go fly.
Yeah.
It rents out for $135 an hour. So whether you're time building or flight training in
Yeah.
it, which, looking around the local area, you can't get a 40-year-old, 50-year-old 150. They're all charging 165, 175 or more.
Yep.
And if you go to the newer, nicer airplanes, I mean, they're all 250.
Yeah.
The Cirrus are 400.
Exactly.
So at $135 an hour, it's really kind of cheap. And that's all in. That's maintenance, gas, oil, anything you need to fly it for $135 an hour.
Yeah, that's real nice. And speaking of Cirruses, this thing also comes with a parachute. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it has, I call it mom approved.
Okay.
Because most parents who don't understand aviation, Cirrus did a really good job of marketing that parachute system as a safety feature.
Right.
So there's an integrated ballistic parachute in the Pipistrel Alpha as well.
Okay.
So it's just an extra safety thing. It's not gonna, it's still gonna hurt when you land if you're using it, but it's gonna save you. And these are actually designed, unlike a Cirrus, which goes through the fiberglass when it deploys.
Yep.
These straps and parachute have blowout panels. So it's, in theory, if it landed and didn't get hurt, you could just put the panels back on and repack a parachute and you could go fly it again.
Wow. Yeah, that is very different.
Very different.
All right. Well, it looks really cool, and I really want to go up and fly this thing. So you ready to go fly?
Yeah, let's go fly. It's a
All
nice
right.
day.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Rotax motor, right? No mixture, right? But it has a choke. So if it hasn't started, we use choke. If it has started, we don't use choke. When it starts right up, close the choke, get it to 2,000 RPMs. I can find where I put mine. How's that?
Yep, you got me.
Yep. Just put my earbuds in. So you can see it starts right up.
Yeah.
The one weird thing you're going to notice is there's no toe brakes. Some of the Alphas have them. The newer styles don't. They have a handbrake.
Okay.
So it's the parking brake and then the handbrake. So you just pull up on it, symmetrical braking.
Nice.
So not a big deal. And then it just kind of rolls as you go. So you can see the G3X Touch. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but I like to be in kind of this mode.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit kind of like the G1000.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Other than you can touch it.
Yeah.
Don't touch the G1000 or you just
No.
leave fingerprints on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go out, warm up. So the biggest thing here is we're just looking for oil temperature. All right, we're going to fly. So that comes out. If we need to use the parachute, that sucks. Go really slow, pull the handle.
Yep.
But let's try not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go up. We'll do a little maneuver, just kind of like an intro flight.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll kind of see how it performs on takeoffs and in flight, and then we'll come in and we'll do. There's two different ways to land it. You can land it with power or without power.
Okay.
So I'll kind of show you the glider landing to start.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I teach, because it's a little bit easier.
Uh-huh.
But then if you want to see kind of the air brake landing and what that feels like, and it's just a little different. It's more like flying an airliner.
Yeah.
Because you carry power in the whole time.
Yep. We have the nice view right here. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, and here, you want a taxi with the? You just got to remember this. Put your hand on the brake. Kind of play with it a little bit.
Okay. And it's almost like a.
But yeah, you just steer. Yeah, you steer with the rudders like you normally do. You just can't slow down with the rudders.
Okay.
And then the hard part is, like, we're going to keep the engine, because it's a gear reduction engine. So we want to keep that gear reduction. We don't want to kind of bog it down. So we run pretty fast RPMs taxiing.
Yeah.
And we ride the brakes.
All right. So when I pull up, is the brakes?
Yeah, you're good. Yep. You can pull up as hard as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not good.
All right.
So it's one of those where we'll burn through brakes to save the engine.
Yeah.
Kind of get the engine nice and kind of warmed up. And then you can kind of go over here, point into the wind. We'll do a quick run up.
Okay. Yeah, it takes it very nice.
Yeah, it's smooth. I mean, it's responsive, right?
Very.
So without differential braking, you can see, yeah, even if you wanted to bump, that's fine. We can go, this is fine.
Okay.
But even without differential braking, you can turn it, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Exactly.
To set the parking brake, pull all the way up, and then push the pin down with your thumb. There you go. There you go. So it kind of sets, and then to release it, you just pull up on it.
Okay.
If we ever had to. And then I'm just going to wait on oil temperature a little bit. What else do we know here? I mean, obviously, this is your transponder and GPS and all that good stuff. I mean, that's pretty standard. That's the 375. COM 2 is on top, COM 1's on the bottom, but it's all touchscreen, right? So if you need your intercom, like if you want your side louder or quieter or whatever you need to do, you can kind of push in here. You could Bluetooth. So this is where, like, you want to build time.
Yeah.
Bluetooth your phone, not to your headset, to the audio panel. We can both talk on the same phone call then.
Yeah.
You can listen to music, you turn the autopilot on, and you just cruise, right? And you just don't run out of gas. Like, that's the only rule.
Yeah.
Autopilot, when you kind of turn it on, it goes into kind of roll hold pitch mode.
Yep.
And it gives you on that flight mode annunciator panel.
Yeah.
So before takeoff, we just make sure it's off.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the autopilot disconnect.
Yeah.
Deal. And then it's 4,000 RPMs for the run up.
Okay.
And really, it's just a mag check, right? Because it still has dual mags. So there's right, back, left, back. It's allowed like 300 total drop, 150 within each other, which was fine.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? Engine instruments, you can expand those, right? If you click on them, you can see more information.
Right.
I didn't put the fuel calc in, but if I added the fuel, right, 13.2, because we were full, it'll gonna give you an idea of endurance-wise and kind of stuff like that. So we just need a little bit more. 120 is the takeoff number on oil. You got to turn your headset on. There you go. Make it a little bit quieter.
Oh, yeah.
And then the flap panel's here. So you got a 0, a 1, and a 2.
Okay.
So it's like 9 degrees, 18 degrees, something like that.
Okay.
Not that it matters. But if we're going to do flaps 2, the only thing we're going to worry about with flaps 2 is we're going to make sure the air brakes are closed. Because what the auto position of the air brakes does, the orange light means they're deployed.
Okay.
And at flaps 2, they auto deploy. And at flaps 1, they don't. So on normal landings, you would use auto and you go to flaps 2.
Okay.
And you do it. So we just make sure they're retracted.
Yeah.
And then we kind of look for traffic. So that's where I kind of like this mode. She was quiet to me, so I'm going to turn her up. If she's too loud for you, let me know.
Yeah.
Downwind traffic, or landing, downwind. We'll just kind of take off to the south and kind of get out of here. And then super light controlled movements.
Okay.
So that's kind of the only deal. We're going to have 120 here before we take off, so that's good.
And then what do you rotate at?
When it wants to fly, man.
Really? So just when it's ready, it's going to fly?
Yeah, so just pull back a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, the book answer is probably 40.
All right.
But you're going to find, right now, it's probably going to fly about 35 to 40.
Yeah.
Knots. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, you could look it up, but
yeah,
just feel it. When it starts to get squirrely, pull it off the ground.
Yeah.
Airline traffic, Pipistrel 1179, Lima departing 30 will be a southbound departure. All right, man, you ready?
Yeah.
You're flying. You ready?
Yeah.
You're just gonna keep it rolling. I'll run the. Yeah, you can do
All right.
it all. It's fine. You can keep it rolling fast if you want. And I'll just help you a little bit. But it's just, I would hold a little bit of back pressure. There's no real crosswind, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
So we just run that all the way forward, and it's way farther forward than you think it is, all the way to the firewall. Lots of right rudder. There you go. Perfect. Gets ready to fly if you pull back just a touch. There you go. Hold it right there. Runway 30, I like it. And we're flying, right?
Yeah.
Then kind of put in ground effect, and the first notch of flaps has a 60 limitation, so we'll put it up. The second notch of flaps has a 70 knot limitation, so we put them up pretty quick because it's flying, right?
It is.
And then if you put the nose on the horizon, that'll keep you out of that prop overspeed. And it's only because as you increase speed, the prop moves better.
Yeah.
So if you pitch it up a little bit, kind of pitch for like 60 or 70, will keep you out of the yellow band for sure. So it's pretty high nose up. We're doing about 1,600 feet per minute.
It climbs up pretty quick.
With no flaps. And we got off, you know, we were in the displaced threshold when we added power.
Yeah.
And we were off maybe just after the numbers.
Yeah, that was very quick. We were super high right now. I mean.
Right, so you feel kind of good. We'll climb up to 2,000 feet. Whenever you're ready, you can clear to the south. And we'll turn left. Center this on us to give you an idea. So there's one person on crosswind maybe, but they're way higher than we are.
Okay.
And so if you're going to lower the nose and speed up, then we got to pull the power back to about 12 o'clock, which is fine. It doesn't matter. But any of these roads, you'll kind of get a feel for it. I can tell you, you're probably holding the control stick firmly.
Okay.
And it's going to make it bumpier for you. So just baby steps, man. Baby steps.
All right.
That's where I say if you kind of rest your wrist down.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do, and you have to in a Cessna, right? Because it's up here.
Yep.
But in a control stick airplane, a lot of people fly with their elbows and shoulders, and they over-control it. It's all fingertips, man.
Okay.
Nothing else you need but a fingertip.
Yeah.
There is trim. You don't really need a bunch of trim because it really doesn't get out of trim.
Okay.
But there's electric trim right below here, and then your trim indicator's kind of up there, which is nice. They moved it. It used to be all down there, and then the newer ones they put up there.
Cool.
But yeah, like.
So south heading for now?
Yeah, just go south, try not to hit anybody, which is good. We're good.
All right.
But you can almost feel, so that's lift you just felt.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a little bit of turbulence.
Yeah.
But that was actually lift because of the wing efficiency.
Yeah.
So you're feeling, so in a glider, that would have been lift and we would have rode it up.
Yep.
So you see a lot of that.
We're actually going to do it
as you go. But, you know, level flight, 5,300 RPMs is perfect. You know, 90 to 100, right? You're 95 true, you're 101 ground speed right now.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, what's a 150 fly at?
It's pretty slow, you know, like around 90 is what we get for.
Yeah. So you're right in that kind of wheelhouse-ish of what you'd want to do.
Yep.
80 is a good number if you want to do like steep turns.
Okay.
So if you want to slow down to 80 and give some steep turns, and I'll clear while you do them.
All right. So I'm looking for like 5,100 RPM, or
I have no idea. Whatever you need to get to 80, man. Just pull it back a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go. That's probably a workout. I do everything on the sound of the engine.
Okay.
I do it in Lycomings and Continentals too. It's all about pitch changes on engine RPM.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bumpy out here for being such a nice day. Not a lot of wind, so it's a lot of thermal energy.
Yep.
Yeah, that speed's fine. Whatever you want, man. Just whip it into a bank.
Okay. All right.
Get a feel for it.
Do on my side.
You will need to use your rudder, unlike a Cessna.
I will need it?
Will need.
Okay, yeah. I saw the ball go out of the ring right there.
So far what I've found teaching students is it's harder to teach a student because you actually have to fly it.
Okay.
Where I feel like a lot of Cessnas, you could be pretty bad and fly a Cessna pretty well.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can land a Cessna pretty well just like aiming it at the runway. So this takes a little bit more style with it.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost like you don't have to do much on the yoke, like
right.
Almost like just.
And
like
when you do, it's super sensitive.
Exactly.
Right? So the whole wing is that flaperon.
Okay.
So it's a flap and an aileron.
Yeah.
So it's a huge aileron lengthwise,
Okay.
which is going to give you a lot of adverse yaw when you use them,
Yeah.
but also makes it super responsive kind of when you do it,
Okay.
if that makes sense. But no, it's kind of a fun little, right?
Yeah. This guy's above us, so we're good.
Yeah, he'll be good. I'll keep looking for him.
All right, I'll do one to this side.
Yeah. So the faster you roll in, right, the more rudder you use. That's just kind of a regular thing. A little bit higher nose on this direction. There you go. So that's like 35 degrees of bank.
Yeah.
But super stable, right? Like
Very.
really can't get yourself in a ton of trouble with it, which is kind of the nice part about it.
Yeah.
But on the other one is you really do have to set it where you want it and control your power.
Okay.
Because it's very speed sensitive to pitch. So if you nose over, your speed goes to shit.
Yeah.
Very stable stall characteristics, like it doesn't want to stall.
Okay.
It does have the AOA vane. Here, I'll fly for a second. I'm
Okay. Your controls.
Just kind of give you an idea. And but super maneuverable, right? Super
Very, yeah.
super stable, but like you can really roll it in if you wanted to, right?
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of babying it a little bit.
Yeah, you can't break it, right? It's not.
Yeah.
So, right, 45 degrees of bank, 50 degrees of bank, right? We try to get the ball centered-ish, right? It's kind of super stable like that, but
Yeah.
I'm going to climb. So, yeah, so you don't have to bit, like you can, it'll put it where you want it and it'll stay there, which is good.
Yeah.
But here we'll go to full power and kind of nose up and kind of get a climb. And I'm just going to get a little bit more altitude.
Okay.
And then as I get slower, you'll notice you got your AOA gauge.
Yep.
Right? The green dot's kind of your landing target.
Yeah.
Or kind of where you want to be. And then as you pitch up a little bit more, right, you'll get in kind of a caution range.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is a fairly, power on stall-wise, like this is pretty freaking aggressive. Eventually it'll go red, so that's a stall warning with the AOA gauge, if that kind of makes sense. But
Yeah, and you're really pitched up, so you'll know if you're stalling. You know?
for sure. Yeah, and then even, here, I'll just show you stall characteristics. So we're stalled, right? And it breaks, but I mean, I think a Cessna's more aggressive.
It is, yeah. The 150, you're like staring to the ground like that. So.
Kind of noses over, so cool. All right, we're going to go back towards the airport, so I'm going to turn us this way. You ready to fly?
Yeah, let's do it.
You have the airplane.
Fine, control.
If you fly over this reservoir and turn right, that'll put you on a 45.
Okay.
And then you can keep between like 5,100 and 5,300 RPMs for now. And then I'll just kind of talk you through landing. To kind of aim at the big hangar on the south side, the newer hangar. You kind of roll it in. And I always make people come into the patterns fast.
Okay.
And then I fly glider patterns, so keep it tight.
Okay.
So roll out a little bit, get a little bit closer. I know this is not a Mankato pattern for sure. There you go. And then kind of parallel it here. And then kind of a beam your landing point. You're just going to hold your pitch.
Okay.
And you're going to pull the power all the way to idle.
All right. So now.
Sure. Go all the way to idle. You don't have to. You can baby it if you want. You don't have to, but just go all the way to idle. Hold your pitch. We descended a little bit in the pattern, which is fine.
Okay.
Just kind of hold what you got. When you get below 70, we're going to add 1 notch of flaps, which is hard to do. So it really doesn't want to slow down.
Okay.
You're going to over control it. Just
Yeah.
relax, man. Relax.
All right.
Relax. You can't hurt it, I promise.
All right.
Put 1 notch of flaps in. So you're going to push the button,
Okay.
pull up a little bit, let go of the button. Perfect. Click it in. Perfect. You're good.
All right.
65. Turn left for base.
All right.
You won't need the power.
Yeah.
You were Gabby like 2 weeks ago.
You make the call. I got it.
I'll make a call.
All right.
Airlink traffic, Pipistrel 1179, Lima left base, 30 Airlink. Yeah, you're good. Just keep going. Watch your pitch. So it's kind of pitch sensitive, where it's just kind of where I showed you. If you nose over,
Yeah.
You're really not going to go there. But this is going to work out just fine. Just keep your pitch at 65, and we're just going to glide it in. I think you're good. I think we should make it. Airline traffic, Pipistrel 1179 Lima, base to final turn 30, touch and go airline. I'll take the airplane after we land.
Okay.
And do the touch and go just so it's not too, well, you can do it. It doesn't matter. But if you keep, so like, I know you want to add power because you think you're in a Cessna, but you're not. Just keep pitching.
Okay.
And don't worry about it. That traffic's on the ground and not a factor. Just keep the pitch at 65. Okay, so maybe we need a bump of power. Bump it just, there you go, hold it right there. Keep the, maybe a little bit more. Get the 60, yeah, and anywhere between 60 and 65 is fine on your AOA target, so you're good. All right, now go to idle. But a little bit of a left crosswind, which is fine. So we'll just, there you go. So there you go. Once it gets in the ground effect, it's going to get a little bit, there you go. So we're going to kind of hold it here. Just hold it here, a little bit right. We're going to do more right rudder than that. So bring it to there. Then we're just going to hold it. We're just going to let it touch down. So even that wasn't enough right rudder. You can go full power again.
All right, full power.
So this is kind of a flaps 1 takeoff, right? We're already at that speed to rotate.
Yeah.
And then you're good. You kind of put it on the nose. We got to retract the flaps before we get to 70. It's kind of the hard part to manage.
Yeah.
As we go. And like surprising, like it's good. It's a glider, right? It kind of glides in. You didn't need much power.
Yeah, we did not.
If we weren't, because we were 200 feet low on the downwind, if we weren't 200 feet low, you would have been high probably on final.
Okay.
But I tell people we'll just kind of take the.
You could probably slip in there too, right?
It's very aggressive slip.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. But you don't need to slip, and I'll show you that on this one. All right, I have the airplane for a second.
Your flight controls?
Perfect. Airline traffic, Pipistrel 1179 Lima, left crosswind 30. Like, there's one traffic out there that
9880 Quebec is taking off 30.
that we're going to have to follow here. So when I say I fly a tight pattern,
I
mean it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the glider world because I'm a glider instructor as well.
Okay.
So you just kind of get used to it a little bit.
All right.
That'll work for what we're going to do, right? So I'm going to go to idle again.
Okay.
Right, and this was the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like, what do you mean I have to maintain altitude? It's the only way the speed's coming down.
Yeah.
Right? And so I like people to be kind of configured way out here because I think it just makes more sense.
Yep.
The book answer would actually say you don't do any flaps till like base to final, and it's like it's too late. You're never going to get, for a student, they're never going to get stable.
Oh, yeah, you got to be
If that makes
stabilized
sense,
before.
right?
Yeah.
So it's easier here because then all they're doing is pitching, right? So you pitch for airspeed and you power for altitude, right? Which is kind of the weird.
Yeah.
So, airline traffic, Pipistrel 1179 Lima, left base 30, full stop really. So I'm gonna, so what I'm showing you is how high I am.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm below 60, I'm gonna go to 2, I'm gonna go to auto.
Okay.
On the, you don't need to slip, you have air brakes.
Yeah.
Right? And so now we're gonna get airline traffic, Pipistrel 1179 Lima's final 30.
500.
So there's what, 500 or 600 feet? Well, what are we getting? We should get about 1,000 feet. So we can land from this.
Okay.
Right? The other one is if you add these two. Right? What's that, almost 2,000 feet per minute?
Yeah.
So now the hard part with air brakes is you have to kind of modulate that numbers.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to work out just fine, but it's going to be a pretty aggressive flare with a little bit of power to bring it in with air brakes, right?
Yeah.
But that was the numbers.
Yeah, that was right on.
When we turned final, did you think I was going to hit
No.
did you think we were going to make the runway?
I thought we were going to go around there.
So, like, that's how aggressive we can be, right? We'll make the first turn off here. Airline traffic, Pipistrel 1179, it's clear, 30, like. And then we'll clean it up, right? And that was just to kind of show what it can do.
Yeah.
Because of the air brakes, right? I mean, we would have landed about a third to midfield, just air brakes without the slip.
Okay.
But then you add a slip in,
You're right on the numbers.
like shit. You could be short here. You might have to add power, right? Just to kind of give you an idea of.
Yeah.
So it's a super unique airplane that it has performance.
Yep.
And it's sensitive to fly. So some of it's harder to fly to me than a Cessna, that's just like a truck in the sky.
Yeah.
It's more sports car-y.
Yeah.
But I also feel like if you teach a kid to learn in this, where you
Yeah.
have to use your rudder and you have to be on your speed or your final
Coordinated and all
spot,
that. Yeah.
you can go fly a Cessna, no problem.
I agree. Yeah.
You know, whereas if you learn on the easy airplane, it's a little trickier to go fly anything else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it goes to like with learning in a 6-pack and going to like a G1000 or something, you know.
Right. If you
Or
learn
vice
on this,
versa.
you're
you're not going back to that.
No.
There's not that.
right. Like we don't even have our iPads with us,
Yeah.
but all our approach plates are in there, all our frequencies.
We're all set up. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll transfer to the radios for you. Like it'll do it all for you. You don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Pull up the weather.
Yeah, it's really it handles pretty nice, you know, like you said, just tad, you know.
Yeah,
doing
don't
much.
over control it. Number one thing, right?
Yeah.
Don't over control it. And you really got to put it there. Like if you nose it down on base or final, even on final, like when I teach kids, if they nose it over because they're high,
Yeah.
and they blow up their speed, like we're flying between 70 and 75,
Uh-huh.
but or between 60 and 65, but your flaps one limit speed's 70.
Yeah.
You got to get really slow.
For sure.
So,
9880 Quebec is turning final.
and then the way the engine shuts down and it just kind of dies,
Yeah.
it's just because of the gearbox, but it's just kind of...
You know, it's about the same price as a clapped out old 152 or 170. I mean, you can't get a 172 for 180 grand, can you?
I don't. It's the market's been crazy, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting deal.
Especially you got autopilot in this thing.
Right, and you don't get any of this.
Yeah, none of
Right,
it.
this is a $500,000.
Yeah, you gotta upgrade to get all this. Yeah.
That's it for this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more of this series. Until next time, keep the blue side up. We'll see ya.